ladies and gentlemen, please rise and help me in welcoming His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya. Let's give him a round of ovation. Let's keep clapping. Don't get tired. Okay, thank you. Let's all be seated. Your Excellency, Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Ministers, Professor Allen Robinson, Director, CMU Africa, distinguished delegates from Kenya, students, and all protocols observed. Good evening, or as we commonly say in the land of 1,000 hills, Mwiriweneza. Thank you. My name is Stella Kanyaru, a Master of Science in Information Technology at CMU Africa, and I'm from Kenya. I'm pleased to be your moderator today. Your Excellency, we are honored to have you in our midst this afternoon. As Kenyans, we are known to look out for each other when we're in foreign lands. As much as you'd realize that ugali is a common menu item here, please, ask for kaunga if you're feeling nostalgic about home. What they call ugali here is actually made from cassava flour. Kaunga, on the other hand, is the equivalent of the cornmeal that we enjoy back at home. I hope that is helpful. Well, I could go on and on about how to navigate life in Kigali. I'm sure my audience is more interested in hearing what our guest of honor has to say. So without further ado, I'd like to invite you to the podium to give your remarks. This will be followed by the moderated interactive session with my audience. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Let's take our seats. Ministers present, the university management and students, good evening. Good evening. I'm Jambo. What is that you said? I need some, side chat with you later. Now, let me, on behalf of my delegation and I, to appreciate your welcome to this great institution. Professor has been very kind to us. He's given us tips and he's given us information about what you guys are doing and the excellent education that's going on in this institution. He has briefed us on the width and breadth of the courses that you are undergoing here, and he's also informed us about that this is a postgraduate institution, teaching masters and beyond. He has also told us that many of the people who want to do entrepreneurship, I'm told 30% are Kenyans. I don't know why, but I think I have an idea what it is. I think Kenya is a country of hustlers. So everybody is looking for a hustle somewhere to do something. And I think it is reflected in what Kenyans are doing here. So again, let me say I have made this visit to Rwanda as part of building the relationship between our two countries. Kenya and Rwanda share a solid foundation built over many years of both relationship at a government level, relationship at business, people to people, and I guess even the presence of Kenyans in this institution is part of that foundation that we have laid of a relationship between our two countries and our two people. To congratulate all of you as students in this great institution. Once upon a time, I was a master's student somewhere in the University of Nairobi, so I have some idea of what you guys are going through here. You have my very best wishes. This institution mirrors what we have in Konza City. We are in the final stages of putting together a university also with the support of friends. And hopefully there will be, as we go forward, a relationship and a collaboration between this great institution and Konza City. I am already told by Professor that there is already collaboration between this university and the university where I am alumni in Nairobi University. So, and I am sure that that relationship is meaningful because I can give a good account of Nairobi University, as I would with all the other universities in the Republic of Kenya I have. You know, sometimes I don't even know whether this joke is necessary because it can get me into a lot of trouble. Whenever we meet with the colleagues from in the space where I occupy, and many people, so the joke is normally that there are many universities in Kenya, but then there is the university. I don't want to say which one because I don't. So, and of course, we have great institutions that can partner with you. As you train in this college, you need to know that we are in a continent that though we have challenges, and there are many, we have challenges of climate change, we have challenges, serious challenges of underdevelopment, but there is a positive side to where we are. And the positive side is that this is the continent of the future. And it is the continent of the future for 4 reasons, if you allow me to give you the 4 reasons. Number one, this is the youngest continent in the globe. Our mean age in the African continent is a mean age of between 19 and 21. Meaning that we have the most energetic, innovative, creative, talented workforce anywhere in the globe. Number two, this is the continent where a quarter of the world population will be staying by 2050. Forget about the small migration you see of people getting into the ocean and trying to get to Europe. That migration is going shortly to be in the opposite direction. Number three, this is the continent that has the highest resources of renewable energy. You know the centrality of energy in development. And because of climate change, the world is at a crossroads, whether to continue with fossil fuel-powered development or get to the renewable energy-powered development. And we have no choice. The die is cast. We cannot continue with a fossil fuel-powered energy world because it poses the biggest threat to humanity today. The reason why we have the adverse effects of climate change, whether you talk about a warmer climate, cyclones, weather changes, droughts, and name it, heat waves, it is not sustainable. And today the conversation globally is how do we go green? Green renewable energy, Africa has close to 65% of the world potential of green energy, meaning that this is the continent that will drive green evolution into the future. And number three, this is also the continent that has the highest resources that will be used for green technology, whether you talk about cobalt and all the other minerals. 40–50% of those minerals are in this continent. This continent is also going to be the continent, as I told you, with a quarter of the population of the world, meaning the largest market anywhere, largest and growing market anywhere in the world. And finally, this is the continent, number 5, that has 2/3, actually 65% of all arable, uncultivated land in the world, meaning that this will be the world's bread basket going into the future. Therefore, you guys, the future is laid out for you. That is the continent that we share. And I want to encourage you that the rest of us who have an opportunity to be leaders in this continent at this point in time, we are putting building blocks together to secure the position of this continent as the continent of the future. What happened 137 years ago in Berlin when they decided to subdivide this continent and share it amongst a few people? We are reversing that. That's why we have signed in record time the Africa Continental Free Trade Area that brings together all the 51 countries into a single market with a population of close to 1.2 billion at the moment and with a GDP of $3.4 trillion. Simply, it will be the biggest single market. My coming to Rwanda today is part of that effort of consolidating our African continent into one market so that we can become attractive and we can actually position ourselves for the opportunities of the future. You guys had better position your thinking, position yourselves, and think global, think continental. You are the people who will pick up from where the rest of us are leaving shortly, so that you can take the mantle and take this continent into the future. I also want to tell you that we are driving another conversation, a conversation about how do we bring this huge potential in our continent from the minerals, from the agricultural potential, from the green energy resources, packaging the market of Africa into one block. Our biggest challenge is resources. And that is why we are now pushing for a re-engineering of the international financial system the current system built around World Bank, IMF, and all the other multilateral lenders, as is today, is rigged against the global south. And that is why you will hear initiatives that have been put in place. We are pushing a huge conversation. We're going to have a summit in Nairobi of African heads of state in September from the 4th to the 6th to discuss our position as a continent in relation to green financing. How do we make the international financial system green compliant, but much more importantly, fair to everybody? Today, most of us in this continent access finances from the development finances, for that matter, from the international financial system at rates between 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe even 11, 12%. Others access international development financing at 0.5%, maybe 0.2%, maybe in that region. If you are going to the same market, but because Africa has been classified as risky, you end up paying 12%. The other person is paying 0.5%. That system is not fair by any account. And we're not asking for a system that favors us. We are demanding a system that is fair and gives everybody a chance. And that is not too much to ask. You know, recently I came out of a campaign. So unless I stop, I could go on. Because when you are campaigning, you don't know whether you have said enough to earn the vote. So, and since there is no voting here, I better stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Could you please join me on the stage, on the seat to your right? We begin the interactive session. Please clap for him again. So, Your Excellency, thank you for gracing us with your presence today. So in this session, I'm going to start off by asking you a few questions, then I'll open the floor to questions from the audience, if that's okay with you.
No. Because nobody told me that there would be questions. The last time I was in an exam is a long time. Anyway, let's try.
Hopefully, since you're in an institution that values knowledge and wisdom,
yes,
you got this.
Okay.
We believe in you.
Okay.
So thank you. So we're going to start off with a very simple question. Okay? So Your Excellency, as a father and as a leader, what advice would you offer these young men and women as they prepare to build a better future for Africa?
Well, that's a good one. Yeah. This is what I like the most.
Okay.
To mentor people and to encourage them to do the right thing.
Okay.
So you guys, I have explained to you as younger members of our society that I have given you a picture of what the future looks like. And it depends on you and what you do with the time you have and with the opportunities that you have. You're privileged that you've come this far in matters education. Many don't get the opportunity that you have got. And therefore, make use of the opportunity that you have in this great institution and know that you're doing this for you, but also for the greater good of this continent and humanity. And you need to understand that each and every one of us has a responsibility that goes beyond what you get at a personal level. It's not about money, it's not about a good job. All that is necessary and it is important, but it's about what the contribution you can make to humanity. It is good to do this, get a good degree, get a good job, and earn some good money. But it is better if you can create impact. It is better if you can serve humanity, if you can change lives, if you can make an impact. So even as you go through your education, think about the impact that the learning, that the knowledge that you're going to acquire in this great institution, how is it going to impact people? How is it going to change society? How is it going to make a difference in your country or your village or globally? Finally, I would persuade you to act local, but plan global. I think you expand the horizon of your thinking and the opportunities that await you if you can do whatever you can do, but also have a bigger horizon to think about.
Wow. For someone who had not prepared, that was a very awesome answer. Don't you agree? So if you were to get anything from that, act local. Act local. Awesome. So, Your Excellency, I said I'd keep my question short. So I'm going to open this up to the floor.
Okay.
And we'll take the first 3 questions, then if time permits, we'll have others. Is that okay by you? Thank you. So let's have the first question from the audience. Yes, Ernest.
Thank you. My name is Ernest Mucho. I'm from Rwanda. I'm a student here at the Carnegie Mellon University in Africa. So one of the things here at Carnegie we believe in is the power of working together and also the power of learning from each other as a means to create impact, as you said. My question goes like this. Your Excellency, so what is Kenya and other African leaders doing to promote Pan-African collaboration, mainly in terms of innovation and capacity building for young Africans? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take the next 2 questions, then we'll give His Excellency a chance to answer. Question number 2. Yes, Sandrine?
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Sandrine Wituze. I'm a second-year student, Master of Science in Information Technology, and I'm Rwandan. My question is, unemployment is one of the major issues on the continent. So what is Kenya and other African leaders doing to create jobs and opportunities, especially for youth? Thank you.
Thank you, Sandrine. On to the 3rd question. Yes, Carl.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Nzezinyo Lemfon Carl, and I am Cameroonian. Your Excellency, congratulations for the phenomenal manner in which Kenya has led financial inclusion on the continent through M-Pesa. What policies is your government putting in place to ensure that Kenya remains a leader in terms of technological innovation on the continent?
Thank you. So I'm going to walk you through the questions, and then you can answer as I retaliate. So the first question was, What is Kenya and other African countries doing to promote and support Pan-African collaboration in the areas of innovation and capacity building for young people?
Thank you very much. I think the whole spectrum of the single equalizer, as Nelson Mandela said, is education. To lay the firm foundation of education in our continent is the first building block towards empowerment of young people, even as you focus on innovation. Number two is to ensure that we mainstream technology. Technology is a great amplifier of what can be achieved in scale. What you can easily scale. You can easily scale ideas. You can scale innovation using technology in a faster manner. Having institutions like what we are doing in Konza City, in Nairobi, like what you're doing in this great innovation hub here in Rwanda, is part of the building blocks that will support creativity, will support innovation, and will provide opportunities and pathways for people in the creative innovation tech space. As I will tell you, that in the whole of that space, building partnerships beyond our continent. Last week, Thursday, we had American Chamber of Commerce in Nairobi, and we are discussing collaboration with MasterCard, with Google, with all the tech big houses, with Amazon, so that we can provide the opportunities for exposure, opportunities for collaboration, opportunities for foreign direct investment in our region, so that we can not only grow startups, we can also provide opportunity for startups to be scaled up. And finally, you need to provide financing. Innovation, creativity requires financing. For Kenya, we are in the process of, as part of one of the commitments that I made to the people of Kenya, was to have a startups fund that will finance, give opportunity to many people in the innovation space to scale up their ideas and what their innovations to market and into enterprises and businesses.
Thank you.
I hope I answered your question. Okay?
Ernest, were you answered? Awesome. So on to the second question. We had Sandrine. So Sandrine's question was, youth unemployment is a major issue on the continent. What measures are Kenya and other African leaders putting in place to create jobs and opportunities for the youth?
If you look at Agenda 2060, the Africa AU blueprint on how we need to get ourselves to the other side, okay, it has all the building blocks of what we need to do, whether it is growing our exports as a percentage of GDP, growing our industrialization as a percentage of GDP, okay, making sure that as we train, we are training people in the space where we can equip them with skills, okay, equip them with competencies. For example, in Kenya, we have, in the last 8 years, we've grown our TVET numbers, yeah, from about 90,000 to now 500,000 in the last 8 years. Awesome. Again, as providing education that is relevant, providing education that prepares young people so that they can become market ready, getting the correct skills, not just for purposes of getting a job, but also for purposes of being able to create one, using innovation, using creativity in the whole of that space. And so education as a mechanism of empowering young people to get them ready to occupy the employment space is number one. Number two is creating real opportunities for value addition, agro-processing, manufacturing, industrialization. That whole space, for a very long time, Africa was a source of primary products, raw materials. We are changing the trajectory of this continent not to export our products, be they agricultural, be they natural resources, not to export them as raw materials, but to add value. In the process of adding value and creating jobs, and you create better incomes for all our farmers and for all other products. That's why, for example, you have this tech hub. That's why you will see in Kenya we have special economic zones, export processing zones. That whole ecosystem, we are insisting that it cannot be the case anymore that Africa is exporting our products and with it, our value and our jobs. We need to keep the jobs in Africa. We need to get value added here and have a fair trade. Finally, we are also building markets. The reason for a very long time we were trading more with, up to now, our contribution is about 3% of international trade, which is not the case. We have almost 17% of the population, and by extension, 17% of the market. So the reason why you hear East African Community, COMESA, SADC, tripartite agreement, the reason why you hear Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, creating blocks for us having a market that we can export to. Once you have a market, it's easier to grow products that you can sell into that market. Products are manufactured by people. That's how you create jobs. So to answer directly to my good daughter there, number one, we are trying to get education that is relevant. Number two, we are trying not to export raw stuff, primary products, but to add value so that we can not only create jobs, but also create value. And number three, we are organizing our market so that it can respond to the challenges of how many products can we produce. If you do not have a market, it becomes very difficult to drive industrialization or agro-processing or markets. And without that, you cannot create jobs.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I think from that, my main takeaway is, guys, stop running away from Africa. The governments are putting in place the structures for a better future. So stay here and be part of the building process.
Very good. Yeah. I agree with you.
Thank you. So on to the last question, Your Excellency. This was from Carl. So first of all, he congratulated Kenya for leading the financial inclusion on the continent, especially with the success of M-Pesa. His question was, what policies is your government putting in place to ensure that Kenya remains a pioneer in technological innovation on the continent?
M-Pesa is a Kenyan innovation. And it cannot be the last. It may have been the first. But there should be many more rolling. And that is why we continuously are building the ecosystem for us to innovate beyond M-Pesa. You may want to know that we are building innovation hubs. Today, the government of Kenya is rolling out 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic around the country. We have 10,000 today. We are rolling out another 100,000, create hotspots, create hubs in all our 29,000 markets, in our 27,000 schools, to make sure that we give opportunity to our young people in the tech space to interact with the internet, and with it, to begin the journey, to travel the journey with us in making sure that we provide opportunities. And with it, we will be creating a tech hub in every ward in Kenya. Tech ward, in every ward, tech hub, in every ward. Again, to provide infrastructure for the young people of Kenya to sample the opportunity to be able to be part of this big drive around technology. Government services. When I came into office 6 months ago, only 320 or 325 government services were online. We are giving ourselves a target, but in the next 6 months, all government services must be online. We are digitizing, we are ramping up the digitization of government services, and hopefully in the next 6 months, we should be able to have between 8,000 and 10,000 government services, all, I'm saying all government services, online, to make government efficient, to make government much more effective, to eliminate pilferage, to avoid cash transactions, and the whole of that, space. Yeah. Again, we are leveraging on technology to provide government service. It is our hope that many more young people can innovate around delivery of government service. How do we do this better? Delivery of government payments. How do we do it better? Again, once we transit and everybody is operating in the tech space, innovation around it becomes a lot more easier. Just to tell you that in that process of digitization and bringing government into the digital space and government services online, the Cabinet of Kenya was the first. In the Cabinet of Kenya, we have no papers.
I'm ashamed of holding papers.
We have no papers in the Cabinet of Kenya because we decided that we are going to go digital. Cabinet papers are digital papers. Cabinet, the whole transaction of government around cabinet, and that is cascading to every other government office, again, so that we can leverage on technology and stay ahead of the curve. And finally, as I said earlier, we are to keep the innovation moving. Yeah. The startups bill is going to finance a lot of the innovation, a lot of the scaling up of ideas and inventions of Kenyans. And hopefully, in a very not so distant future, we will have a second, a third, and fifth, and 100th M-Pesa.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Guys, you need to come to Kenya. That's it. So, thank you so much for this. Ladies and gentlemen, we've now come to the end of our program. Thank you, Your Excellency, for making the time to speak with us, give us gems of wisdom, and allowing us to learn from you as we ourselves look forward to being the next leaders and the future of Africa.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay. Okay.
I'd also like to extend a warm round of applause and thanks to the government of Rwanda for always bringing us awesome leaders. Yeah? Thank you for always believing in us and giving us an opportunity to learn from such invaluable leaders. To the Kenyan delegates, Karibuni CMU, thank you for visiting us and gracing us.
Okay.
To my awesome audience, thank you for making the time. Please clap for yourselves as well. And to everyone who put in the time to make this event a success. Thank you. You guys are the true rock stars. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me when it's time to go.
I'm getting to that. So we're about to finish this. I'll kindly ask you to remain seated as our delegates take their leave. I've been Stella Kanyaru, your moderator. Thank you for having me. Murakoze Chane.